Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? Got episode number 82 of Marvel Yap today. We're going to be going over the Golden Gauntlet, talking about the patch, some OTA hopes that we have, as well as Datamines, and what the future of Marvel Snap looks like. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, we're joined by the hostess with the mostest, the reoccurring Golden Gauntlet caster himself, notmydance. How are we doing today, Dance?
I'm doing well. It's absolutely awesome to be able to be someone who's gone onto that tournament multiple times. Am I actually wrong here? Have I been on there now? I'm now like second or third place, tied with Guest and KM. That's wrong, right? Because it's 3 times. Even though, okay, it's 2.5 for me. My ISP cut out halfway through, so it's like
you had the meat treatment.
times.
Except my internet came back. Your internet did not come back. But
Exactly.
but mine wasn't the gauntlet. Mine was the snowball. So it doesn't necessarily count as much. But
I forgot about the guy.
But yeah, Dance got the cast in the Golden Gauntlet this past weekend and did an absolutely phenomenal job, I would say, with Jeff. And I think we were talking about this a little bit before the Yap even started. Jeff had actually solo cast after Dance, of course, went MIA for a little bit.
Yeah.
But Jeff did an incredible job solo casting before even KM hopped on. And KM even gave Jeff his flowers. I think Jeff did solid, even with the whole entire situation, which the chat was a little wild during that. But it was great to see Dance get some love and have that awesome opportunity. At the time of recording this, by the way, the Snap patch did just go live, so our connections might look a little funky just because...
is my connection still getting funky? Because I think we're downloading stuff.
Yeah, the assets and everything right now, which, by the way, if you guys are just now downloading the patch and you guys have not logged in on your phone, it's going to take a while to just get your phone up and ready on Snap itself for all the assets to download and everything. That's something just to keep in mind. I know it sucks, but that's kind of, something has to happen right now for like the optimization, unfortunately. But we did have a patch today, which means we're going to be going over Datamines today. We're also going to be going over some OTA hopes. We also got like a Snap kind of here's what to come kind of thing. Not necessarily a roadmap. We didn't get a roadmap because we didn't get specific dates necessarily. We got months for that. So we'll be talking about some potential future seasons, which of course are subject to change. At least the names are subject to change. So we're going to infer some potential characters that we might be getting to the game. And then we're going to be talking, of course, about the Golden Gauntlet. I played in the Golden Gauntlet.
And you had a great game.
I had a really good game, which, by the way, Dance, I actually misplayed the final turn.
You did?
Mm-hmm. So it was bad, but I'll explain it after you do your little overview here.
Yeah. I mean, so I if you haven't seen it, he has a YouTube. Honestly, we'll give the promo for Tuck now. Okay, if y'all haven't followed Tuck, you should. He posted the clip over on his YouTube and over on his, I believe it's TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but I'm assuming it was there if it was on YouTube. Make sure you follow. He also posted gameplay of the actual Golden Gauntlet tournament. He did all of that stuff. All of that is currently on his YouTube, which you're probably watching this on right now. So make sure you go follow it down below. Apologies, by the way. There's been an issue this is as midway through your promo. There's been an issue with the Spotify stuff. I'm supposed to talk to Guest about it. My internet actually cut into the time we were supposed to talk about that previously, and we will. Hopefully, I'll have that fixed soon. But I've been doing it in a really backwards way that's taking way too long, is what I was told.
Okay.
And he said, no, you can be saving a lot of time. And I didn't know that. Anyway, sorry. Seriously, Tuckr's awesome. You should follow him. Go follow him right now over on his YouTube, over on his Twitch, over on his TikTok, over on Twitter. He's absolutely awesome. He's fantastic. As you could tell, if you watch the Golden Gauntlet, he does great gameplay. He's absolutely phenomenal, fantastic guy. I personally enjoy watching his stuff. Follow him right now. TUCCRR on all the platforms. Tuccrr, your Fin Fang Foom, I think, I haven't seen a bigger Fin Fang Foom than yours.
Even
now,
when
I had
you did
mine
your
in,
video?
like, my test game. Tuck, listen, when we do those videos, which speaking of, by the way, sorry, shouting you out, when this goes live, you just did a Gambit video.
Yep.
So big props there. Let's go. Again, fantastic stuff. That's, I think, out recently. But when we do those, right, those are test servers. Those aren't really real games, right? Those are bots, or you play against someone else who's like trying to make you look cool. You had the realest big number Foom I've seen
in a tournament game too.
It's a tournament game.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's not overstate that. That is awesome. Again. Yeah. And then awesome for God, dude, you guys got so much awesome stuff going on right now. Again, your Gambit video just went up right now. I love there's behind the scenes, there's a bunch of creators asking questions about how the new Gambit works. And Tuccrr's over here answering all these questions like a really great guy. And then they say, how do you know this? Bro, Tuck out here like, I got receipts. You want to see the Gambit video? You want to see that? You gonna see it with my face on it.
It's true.
He's absolutely phenomenal, y'all. He's so cool. Such a great guy. Sorry, like so much awesome stuff from you, man.
But the misplay dance. So I had the line set up to do the right play. So the way if you guys have not seen the clip, the way that I have done in the video is, of course, I fin fing foom a Taskmaster that copies the power of a man spider that's played on Sinister. Is it Sinister London? Bar Sinister.
Bar Sinister. Sinister London puts it in another location.
Okay, so Bar Sinister, meaning that, both Man Spider duplicated a gazillion times. So my opponent got really greedy with it. I have a Kid Omega on the board. I play Fin Fing Foom onto Bar Sinister to get the power of the Taskmaster, and that Taskmaster, of course, has that power in the front row. And so then I also destroy a Fin Fing Foom with Kid Omega so I can have it in my destroy pile to be able to revive it. So I win, of course, the Taskmaster lane. So I have priority going into the next turn. And I know my opponent's going to Fin Fing Foom. But I also thought my opponent might Zola their Man Spider that was on a different lane. Because we had the location where the cards went to the right. But the way I misplayed this, guys, I got extra greedy. So the previous turn, the reason why I was able to play Fin Fing Foom is because 2 Luna Snows had been on the board. So 2 Ice Cubes had been on the board. So the turn I had destroyed Fin Fing Foom, an Ice Cube was also destroyed. So the next turn, I got extra greedy, and I was going Fire Hair, Elixir, Fastball Special. And that's actually wrong. I actually had Animation Infusion in hand, and I should have just done Animation Infusion into Fastball Special to guarantee I hit the Fin Fing Foom. But my greedy stealth was like, yo, I have Fire Hair, I have Elixir, I'm going to try and get an extra Fin Fing Foom proc and a Fire Hair proc. So what I decided to do was go Fire Hair, Elixir, Fastball Special. The issue is there, Elixir is a 50-50 before the Ice Cube or for Fin Fing Foom. And I lose that 50-50 and I get the Ice Cube back. So then Fastball Special looks at Fire Hair and Elixir, which are both 2 3s, and it's another 50-50 that Fastball Special has to hit Elixir or I actually lose the game. So, fortunately, Fastball Special hits Elixir, which allows Fire Hair to proc Elixir again, and I get another Fin Fing Foom, and I win. But if it does not hit that 50-50, I actually lose that game after such a crazy clip. So I almost threw that game because I went extra greedy instead of just doing the proper just Animation Infusion into Fastball Special. So I got really, really lucky. It's the clip you saw that made me win the game and be able to progress into the next round. But it was the wrong play, but it was the better clip play, I guess, technically. But it 100% was the wrong play.
Yeah, as I'm turning into a pixel variant over here. I think, no, I honestly, I forgot that you had the Adamantium Infusion in hand. Yeah. So I only thought that was your only play there. And I just missed that entirely. Wow. Yep. I thought, because otherwise, right, with what you're talking about there, that's technically a 25%er into the correct thing.
It still technically was a 50-50 because Elixir was a 50-50 to get, or maybe it's even worse. Maybe it's not a 50-50. It is a 25%er, but it's a 25%er and then it's another 25%er kind of. Or it's
50-50 makes 2 50-50s, 25%er,
yes.
25%er.
Yeah. So technically, yes, it was a 50-50 for either one of those lines to occur. But it was like a 1 out of 25 to get the option I had, or a 1 out of 4 to get the option I had. There's another 1 out of 4 I could have won. So technically it was still a 50-50 regardless. But it still was the wrong play.
Yeah. It was a 1 out of 4 for you to lose the game there.
Yes.
With that play.
Yes.
That's the correct way. Yeah. No, Gold God was a lot of fun. It was a really cool time. And there were some very powerful decks in there. And The one, I know we have this Monsieur, by the way, in between us, and this is going to be our topic in a second here, the fact that it does have a bunch of brand new text on it.
Yeah.
However, we'll get there. This is just what we had to show. But the deck that won the game was this deck from W, who's apparently an OG player, someone who was around a while ago, back when I
met him at
saw
SnapCon
8 Cubes
a couple years ago.
Ooh, there you go. Nice. Apparently, with someone that was playing around when Lambie was still super competitive in the game and whatever. Used this deck, and the stuff that was really interesting to me about this deck in particular was Glenn actually noted this deck before. A couple days before the Golden Gauntlet, he hit Infinite with I think a couple cards off of this deck.
Yes.
And said that this deck was really powerful. And then he even went into the internal second dinner like chats or whatever and said, hey, I think the deck that I used to hit Infinite, this deck that is currently in between us, right? It's slightly off still, but this deck is one of, if not the best decks in the game right now. And he said, I hadn't checked the numbers, but I think this is the best deck in the game. And then it won the Golden Gauntlet. So.
And I think what's interesting about this is a pile of cards like this, while Glenn does say this, quote unquote, is the best deck in the game, I think it really does boil down to the pilot. I think looking at this deck is, of course, it's apples to oranges, but this deck winning the Gauntlet kind of reminds me of when Tuccrr won the Gauntlet with his Hydra Stomper deck. And I think it's just the way you can play around certain options. This text for a large variety of different meta decks in the game, but it doesn't completely hone in on them, which I think is very important to kind of note into those like situations. And I think that allows you to have like the flexibility into a variety of different matchups, because if you fully tech into one matchup because you think you're going to see that in the tournament, you kind of are unoptimized for other matchups. And I think this allows you to have a variety of different answers, which is why it's labeled, by Glenn saying like it's the best deck in the game. And I think it's because the way you can tempo things out and the way you have a variety of different cards that give you like exponential value. Like I was talking about this, I think in my Phantom X video yesterday, is Cable is one of the most underrated cards in the game right now. Especially in a tournament setting, Cable is incredible. Same with Copycat. Those are two cards that are absolutely insane because the intel you get and the combo your opponent is less likely to potentially draw. Or more likely, depending on what you draw there. But the snap conditions for a Cable or like a Copycat in a tournament setting are super impactful. And I think at a 2-4 now, too, is really, really good. For Cable for what it does, especially into like the negative matchup too, waiting to do your Cable potentially after a negative. Like there's a lot of really cool stuff here, and like what Master Mold can also do into like the negative matchup, which of course was the finals that W faced, in order to not draw as many of those flipped over cards. Is something that is really cool. Of course, you have Cosmo and other ways to just mitigate power. So I can totally see the value here. Supergiant also being able to stop turn 5 or turn 6 plays. Like if your opponent plays a Mr. Negative on like, let's say they haven't played on turn 4 or they play more so on turn 5, you have, your Supergiant to stop the potential like Jane like and stuff. Like Supergiant has so much utility and is a very big, like you need to think about kind of card. Like it's definitely like there's a skill expression with Supergiant, which has been around for a while, but you're seeing it more so in the tournament, and W, of course, being one of the best players in the world. I mean, for a long while. I mean, what's really cool is I messaged W after the tournament, and he said, I finally won one and didn't come in second, because at SnapCon he came in second. A couple other tournaments he came in second, so he finally won one, and his birthday was yesterday at the time recording this too, so it was a nice birthday celebration for W. He even said he played rounds 5 and 6 while he was out partying with his friends before he came home to play in top 16. So W absolutely just phenomenal, like being able to
awesome.
do that, which was really, really cool. But yeah, I think this deck is solid.
The last thing I'll note with this deck, I think before we move on from the Golden Gauntlet in particular, with Tuccrr dives over there, is it's also, again, goes against the notion that Marvel Snap's a pay-to-win game. Tuck, none of these cards came out in the last year. These are all cards that have been around the game for over a year. I think the most recent card out of all of these, is it Cannon? No, it's Mercury, I think.
Yeah, Mercury is the most recent card. So this stinks for anyone that is like, yo, I wanted this pack to give me a lot of Series 4, Series 5 cards.
Yeah.
But Overall, no. I think this is. I mean, I think Mercury Series 4, and I think Cannibal Series 4, and Supergiant Series 4.
Are there
Master Mold?
Is there any Series
4?
5 cards in this deck, by the way, at all? Actually.
I don't think so. I think Cannibal Series 4
Oh my gosh,
now.
I
think
missed that.
Supergiant Series 4 now.
Yeah, it's just Series 4s. All right,
yep.
pop off. Yeah.
Yep. Which side note, I did of course did not win the Gauntlet. Okay, I qualified 4 Worlds. I went 5-1, but I was the only person in the Golden Gauntlet running the Star-Lord Firehair Phoenix Force deck. The only person in the Golden Gauntlet running that. And also, I was, I think, the only person that ran Elixir that I think qualified for Worlds.
Good stuff. Yeah, you did qualify for Worlds there. It's good. So we'll have to see. We'll have to keep an eye on Tuck for the future Golden Gauntlets and see how he does there. But not just this stuff. We kind of touched it before. But Glenn said that this was potentially the best deck in the game. Tuck.
Yeah.
Does that mean it's getting hit in the OTA?
So, I don't necessarily think it needs to get hit in the OTA. I want to preface that.
Sure.
I want to preface that I don't think it necessarily needs to get hit in the OTA. But I do want to note I wouldn't be surprised if they do move Sugi back to a 4-5. I don't think it needs to happen.
Yeah.
But I think there might be a world where they think Supergiant is that key card in this list that makes it maybe too good. Like I said, though, you still have to have skill expression. Like, you still have to really play around a bunch of things to be able to fully optimize this deck. But maybe they're like, well, I want the average Joe to not have to worry about that, so we're going to move Sugi back to a 4-5. I don't think it needs to happen. But I wouldn't be surprised necessarily in the OTA if they did move Sugi to a 4-5.
Yeah. I'm actually, so I know we talked about, we kind of talk about sometimes what we're going to do in terms of our OTA thing. Or like we tell each other cards.
Yeah.
So I told you, I also was looking at card in this deck, and I mentioned in particular Shadow King. Because I think Shadow King's another card's a little bit too good right now. But then I was also re-looking through the stats of the Golden Gauntlet, and it's not even one that we talked about, so I'm throwing a curveball at you here. Cosmo was the most played card.
Yes.
Does that dog need to go to a 3-2?
I think it might be, if it's not Sugi, it might be Cosmo. I don't think make Cosmo a 4 cost. I don't think you do that again, which they did in the imbalance patch a few seasons ago.
And I don't think you want to make it a 1-powered card because, again, Ravonna synergy is very good. I think that if they look at this card and what they want to do with this, I think a 3-2 is a fair shout. Also, it's a nerf to Cerebro 3, and it's a buff to Cerebro 2.
Yeah. But it's also possible, even if it is a nerf to Cerebro 3, like, you still potentially run it in Cerebro 3, potentially.
You still could, yeah, right? Luke Cage still exists there, so I'm uncertain, but I do think, like, it's one of the tech cards I think takes a hit in the OTA. And I don't think there's a lot of cards that really need to get truly hit in this OTA really heavily, like, at least brought down. And this is kind of like a group of 3. I know you had Supergiant, I had Shadow King, and then I threw you Curveball with Cosmo. But actually, as I was like looking through these cards, I realized Cosmo's was the most played card in the entire tournament.
Yep.
And it's honestly a really good card. I wouldn't be surprised just to see this get knocked a peg.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised for a 3-2 Cosmo. Like, I feel like that, honestly, I'd rather get Cosmo hit than Supergiant hit, if I'm being honest.
I think so too, yeah.
I think that'd be the one I'd probably see more reasonably. But I have a funny one too. I know maybe this is crazy, right? But I think Weapon X is a card that's, like, rough. But there's a Weapon X and Aurora bundle coming out soon, and this card has not been touched since its season, and I think it still is kind of feels bad to play. I wonder, I'm gonna jump a crazy number. I think you jump to a 2-4 for Weapon X. I think that's probably too big. I think 2-3 is probably more applicable to have him start at a 2-3 instead of a 2-2. But have him start at a 2-4. Give him 2 extra power and see what happens. I think, or another immediate kind of buff would be, like, you can't destroy Weapon X. Your opponent can. Like, I wonder if that's something on the text is like, you can't destroy. But, like, something like that. So then you can also play cards onto the Weapon X lane is something that could be cool.
That's interesting. As I'm freezing again.
Yeah, I was about to say Dance
Am I frozen entirely for you?
No,
there
he was.
That's
he was.
fun.
I said,
anyway, was I talking the whole time either? Because
No.
thought I was. No,
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, whatever, it's fine. This update's gonna just download a bunch of assets as everything's going on, and I'm gonna keep freezing here. The world. So I've looking at this card recently as well, as I keep dying and freezing. I was looking at this and I kind of was like, yeah, I could see a world where it goes to 2/4. If they did a text where you can't destroy it, I think it's too much text on the card.
Okay.
The thing I saw, and I feel like it's busted, but honestly, it's the only thing I saw so far was like, you make it an ongoing, and you just make it a 2/0. And I don't even know if it's still good there.
Ongoing or objective?
Maybe objective, I don't know, but it feels more of an ongoing personally.
Mm-hmm.
If it's an ongoing, right, it becomes you make it so it's for +1 power for each of your other cards that's destroyed. After every third, improves effect by 1, and it just keeps doing that stuff. So it's same thing. I agree. This card should get some love. I don't know how they have to do it, but I do 100% agree that this card should get some love. Should get a bit of some change. I don't know how it looks, but I think that is a good change.
Yeah, I think it just needs something. I mean, I faced one of these the other day, and granted,
it was really easy to go over.
Well, I had the counters to be able to counter what it was trying to do, and I hit like all the right cards.
Yep.
Which is why, which sidebar, this card is not included in my OTA changes, but something Dance has brought up in past, like either it was with Glazer or it was here. Dance wants Phantom X to be an objective card, and I think you do not make Phantom X an objective card. I think you keep Phantom X an activate card, and that card is actually really good right now. Phantom X is really good, which I don't know if you guys saw yesterday's video. I'm plugging it again. I went 27-13 with Phantom X in Top Infinite and plus 52 cubes. So it was an absolutely crazy climb. I did 4 different Phantom X decks, by the way. I heard I did not do the most optimized Victoria hand deck, which is the one that performed the worst for me. But the other decks, like the Victoria hand deck, I went 5-5. The Roram/Oracle deck, I went 8-2. Quick Status's deck, I went 7-3. And Derek's deck, I went 7-3. So like the card is in a good spot right now. People do not respect the -2 affliction to each front row card. People do not math out how much that does. Plus, you're running Gambit, you know? So Gambit is also just disgusting. But with that said, like it is absolutely really sorry. Now I don't think it needs any changes. I hope it doesn't get hit in the OTA because it's definitely nothing crazy like that. But that's my little thing about Phantom X. Phantom X is a lot of fun right now. Dance was playing some Phantom X. I think some last season
I was doing different
as well. I think you were doing the Zombie Captain Marvel deck, which is which was the best one for me as well. Which, by the way, guys, another sidebar again. If you guys aren't subscribed to Dance on any of his channels as well, please subscribe to the YouTube, which will be down in the description below, which Dance went over the patch. And if you guys did not know, a lot of the graphics, of course, that you see here on the app, but also a lot of other content creators use are made by Dance. Dance actually makes those graphics and does an absolutely phenomenal job with those, as well as thumbnails. But also he streams. He streams on Twitch. If you guys are not following Dance on Twitch, make sure you guys do follow Dance. Following is absolutely free. Subscribing to his YouTube is absolutely free. And you guys are missing out on some just really grade A content, whether he is going over his own deck guides as well, which he breaks them down really, really well. Very thorough, talks out his plays really well as why each card is in the list individually. And then also just has great content as well. He'll probably be going over Datamines and stuff on his stream later this week. He'll have a Datamine video himself as well. And then if you check out his Twitter, it lets you know when those posts are going live, as well as maybe some special things going on in the Twitter sphere for Dance as well. But please make sure you guys do follow Dance on all of his platforms, as he tells us why he thinks Mojo is actually secretly...
I mean, so if we're talking about cards that should be objective, Mojo is the answer.
Okay.
That's the answer, right? Like, if you're talking about a card that should be objective, I was going through and trying to see, like, one of the things they talked about in the recent video was, hey, which cards should be objective if we're looking at something? One of the ones they've mentioned was Phantom X. I'm 50-50 still on it. I understand the logic of why not. I'm still 50-50. There's reasons I think both ways, but I'm uncertain. However, I do think the interesting question of what other cards should be is Mojo. I mean, this is just a 2/2 with the same style of +6. And rather than caring about a specific ongoing bonus, if it's a +6, this is fair, right? This is just a +6, a 2/2 +6. We've already seen this similarly with Juggernaut. Not really the not the greatest of cards. However, you only need it to happen exactly once. So, especially with a card that's really powerful right now, like a Luna Snow, that's pretty easy to do. End of turn, done, and then you just have a 2/8 for the rest of the game.
I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be a cool quality of life change. I wonder, is Mojo a Mojo Series 3? Mojo is a Series 3 card.
That's what that was the question I asked before I said this as well. I saw you. I'm glad you weren't at my stream when I was saying this bit, because I was talking about like, this is the answer, right? If it's Series 3, I agree entirely, and it was. And so yeah, this is a card I think should just be a objective card, first objective in Series 3. I stand by it.
Yeah, no, I could see maybe Series 3, because then it's like, you played the game for quite a while, so you're in like a much better spot in general, to I think to be able to do something like this. I don't hate that idea. Genuinely do not hate that idea. I think the last change we've Shadow King. We can go over Shadow King before we go over.
I already talked about it a little bit earlier. I think we've already hit this because we had a kind of a double change, I think, for both of us.
Yeah, but what did you have for Shadow King? Like, what did you want the stat line?
It was just gonna be a 3. I was thinking 3-3-3-2, just taking a couple points of power off of it.
Okay, putting it back in Cerebro. Gotcha.
Exactly. So that's why I went back over to the Cosmo and didn't even talk about this idea instead.
Okay.
I just basically changed it last second.
I think we take power off of Shulau's body again.
I think you can keep. I think this is a card you can keep just tapping.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will do it, but I think that they can tap this card just a bit.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main things. I think the +3, like, of course, just make it just characters and stuff, but like, people are doing just characters, and that's like the main deck people are playing with.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work. That idea of mine originally, I think it was great at the time. It doesn't work anymore. Yeah,
I think there's a world they maybe just make it 5/5. I think they maybe just bite the bullet and make it 5/4. Like a huge, that's a huge chunk.
That'd be a big one. I feel like it'll be a.
But it went from 5/8 to 5/6 and still did well. So 5/6 to 5/4, maybe.
I think this card is going to be seeing some more play, Tuck, thanks to the patch we got today and the card we saw for a second.
Yeah,
Mysterio is a fantastic Shulau card as of right now.
Mysterio actually is going to be crazy with it. This is another one of the change. We'll talk about this one a little bit later into the section here. But
I can do this real quick if you'd like, but it's fine either way. It's
if we're already here, yeah,
if we're here, basically, right? So the cards that the cards and locations that basically are going to be changing power multiple times. Where Marrow, you see each of her individual daggers fly onto the board. You would see, the Stark Industries put those points of power individually on the board as well. It's basically no longer, I think, going to do it in that individual way. You're going to see one big chunk, and that's it. And they said the reason that they were doing this is because apparently there's future designs, which we'll talk about the future of Snap here in a second, where we look at the actual Datamines, which, by the way, Tuccrr and I haven't seen. Sometimes we talked about them in advance. We haven't seen them today, so stay tuned for that stuff. However, so stuff like that, apparently they changed for future things. This location, Stark Industries, Cassandra Nova, Dragon of the Moon, Laufey, Marrow, Dormammu's Second Summoning Ritual, and Lord of the Negative Zone, which is the skill for Annihilus in Grand Arena. All of those now are going to be like one big affliction. And then there's one more card that also got changed, which is Kahori, which Kahori then also is a 4/7 now in order to compensate, because this is technically now a negative. It got hit negatively because of the other stuff. Because now you can't get multiple buffs onto a Sebastian Shaw or a Clea or something like that. However, so they threw an extra point of power onto her as a result of that.
Wait, so you're telling me this right here can't hit? So Marrow can't hit the same card?
So no. So what I'm saying is, let's imagine, I'm going to use Stark Industries as the example, and hopefully this will explain for everything else. If your Sebastian Shaw was the only card at Stark Industries, and then it triggered, it would have gotten the +8, and then each one of those additional points of power, it would have given it +2 each and every time, correct?
Correct.
Now, it only is going to take that one +8 onto the card and only get 1+2. So it would have gotten plus 3 times it. So it would have gotten 32 points of power previously if it was the only card there. Now it is only going to get 10 points of power. So that's a bit. So each one of those things are. It's a nerf in that very specific situation, which isn't a common one, but that is a nerf still. But that's like that's what I'm trying to argue here. It's like, hey, that's I think the best way to showcase it and help you understand these types of changes. And so if Kahori for some reason hit a Clea or a Fast and Shaw pre-patch with her points, every single one of her little things would have re-triggered their ability.
Yes.
However, now it's only going to be one trigger of the ability after all of these things. Those are the changes there. So it is, and then you got a point of power to compensate for it. The other part was a nerf. This part's a buff. But again, it's like you weren't really running this card anyway, so.
Yeah, you weren't running Kahori, but that is a major nerf to Kahori and in general too, because you'd want her for multiple procs like that as well. So then that means like, well, no, Marvel Boy and like Shang-Chi Master of the Ten Rings are a single proc.
The only card that isn't mentioned that I think that should be, it seems weird, is Gwenpool. Gwenpool seems like, she says she gets +2 power multiple times, but that kind of seems like the same wording as this as Kahori has here.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll have to kind of see how that happens. As Dance freezes again. Dance are these assets in Snap are crazy. Dance is back. We have Dance back, but these Snap assets are wild. They lag everything, bro. Dance froze again. Wow. Yeah. So Kahori got changed, and then Mysterio.
Did I die right there? Sorry,
you did. You did, but you're back. You're back with Mysterio with the new and improved. Maybe not improved. It's more maybe improved for game quality. Mysterio. Mysterio is now a 2/5 on reveal. Add an illusion to another location. Activate swap power with it. Meaning when you activate Mysterio, that 5 power or whatever power that was originally on Mysterio itself, then goes over to the next one, and the first Mysterio that had the on reveal turns into a clone of that one.
Yeah, it turns into that illusion, as it were. And this is, again, when we talk about Shu Lao, this is amazing with Shu Lao. And I believe it's been tested. I could be entirely incorrect here. But you Shu Lao this card, then you activate it, and then you play a Luke Cage.
Or you have Luke Cage on the board already.
Or you already have Luke Cage on the board. And then that power stays on Mysterio and the illusion.
Yeah, so it's a smaller-bodied Scarlet Spider.
Yep. This is a buff to Cerebro 5.
Yeah.
It's also like... It is. I was gonna say like it is a smaller-bodied Scarlet Spider. It's not the same as Scarlet Spider, which is an interesting shout, right? Like, because one of them I think is better than the other, and it's only permanent power that it's swapping. It's because like if you wanted to use Luke Cage, it takes 5 energy to do that. This is it's an interesting change. It sucks that they removed the previous one. They even talk about this a bit in the patch where they're like, hey, this is a bottleneck for design space. And they wanted to simplify his design to avoid a number of bugs caused by the original due to the complexity that his replacement effect created. This makes sense to me. This is a perfectly fair change, in all honesty. I think I was sad to see this change, and it did happen. I was like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I think it's there's so many just different bugs in the game that were just broken with Mysterio. So it is really great to see, it changed for that as well. So, I mean, I'm glad for, like, the quality of life stuff, I think, is good for Mysterio. It, of course, also would have worked with, like, almost every single objective card.
Yeah, which is fair to change it there, but, yeah.
So, But, I mean, I think for quality of life and hopefully less tech debt,
exactly.
we get the Mysterio change. So we'll see what happens. But, yeah, some small ball Scarlet Spider. Of course, like what Dance is talking about also with Scarlet Spider. Scarlet Spider, you have the unknown of you don't necessarily know where the Scarlet Spider is going to go. But you do
as
now.
Well, to be fair.
Well, with here, of course, though.
Sorry.
Yeah, with here, you on reveal and the clone is already spawned. So your opponent can kind of plan around that a bit better. But
they don't know where it's ending up. Like you may not want to activate this card, which this is the first time we're seeing an activate or a card that's like, you maybe don't want to use this part. Like, I actually, specifically, I'm gonna say inactivate, where it's like, what if you just don't activate it? And that's a real answer. The illusion is a lot of the power.
Yeah. So like having that like psychology kind of aspect of that is pretty cool. And then
they gave Sasquatch a point of power as well, because I mean, Mysterio was the best enabler. They say it was one of the best in their patch notes. I say that it was just the best enabler. And this card, I think, is actually going to die now. I don't think it's going to matter.
This card's just dead.
I don't believe this matters.
Well, I feel like not every single Sasquatch deck was also playing Mysterio. Like Dr. Guapo is playing just regular bounce without Mysterio and getting Sasquatch out itself too.
Okay, that's
so,
fair.
Like the
Maybe
old
it's
Sasquatch decks and like old Thanos kind of stuff, you know, it would have been different, you know, for Sasquatch here. Also with our OTA changes, we weren't talking about in Sabanor and any of those either. I think we talked about this in your stream, like. If like in Sabanor went to from a 4.5 to like maybe 4.6 and or 4.7 or at base, and then went to like a 4.10, I think that's a huge jump, which I don't think they would necessarily do until maybe, you know, those 3 weeks into the season kind of thing. But 4.10 in Sabanor is, I think, scary. I think that is some Skarnos stuff that could.
That's what I really want.
Which I would potentially want that too. But it would be really scary. But you mean you're not playing Sasquatch probably still in those decks.
Yeah.
But then we also got,
because the argument was made for what it's worth.
Yes,
you can't do that because normal Apocalypse has only 8 power. So Apocalypse Celestial Chosen has to have 8 power. That's a dumb argument, and you're wrong.
I mean, look at
have
Pedro.
Like, yeah, Pedro, Mr. Fantastic. Look at Invisible Woman. Look at Thing. Look at what is it? Look at Selene. Go ahead and look at, I don't know. It's not written as a rule anywhere. Look at Star-Lord. Look at Juggernaut. Yeah, look at Drax. Stop it.
Get some help. And then the Lockjaw and Shanna changes, I think, were supposed to come out in the OTA a couple weeks ago, but they got moved to the patch here. I think I think
that's what's been guessed. I don't know if that's been confirmed by Second Dinner, but they had some notes in the most recent OTA regarding it, and I did see some content creators, including myself, for what it's worth, talk about them because they gave us these notes, and then they were like, "Wait a second, these aren't actually in there," and so we just. What I said at the time was just, these are not part of the patch. These are not actually in the OTA. I don't know if we talked about those two in particular here, though.
Yeah, that's actually a good point.
But yeah, at least in terms of that stuff, both Lockjaw now reference characters, which again, that's also, it's pulling a character out from the deck, not pulling a card. So it basically is just skipping all of the skills, which could be some consistency, which is an interesting part that I haven't really considered with this, which I do like the idea of. In addition, we also, like I mentioned before, Shauna, right? Or no, you mentioned this part, Shauna. Shauna now says character, and this is one, dude, I've been talking with Warren about this for a month or two. Been wanting this so badly.
Yeah, Dance is a very avid Shauna enjoyer, so he's really excited that this happened.
There wasn't a reason to play her over Debris as of right now because of when they changed them. I would rather, in a deck that wants between those two, I would have rather had a consistent card on the board each and every time rather than giving me skills. Rather than getting, let me just check, a web sling. Yeah, I'll take a rock. I could do more with a rock than a web sling in a deck that wants Shauna.
And I still think Debris is going to get more play.
I mean, definitely.
Still than Shauna. But yeah, that's the gist of the patch we had today.
To be fair, I will say, there are 2 other changes. There's now, I think, so we should see it. It won't be in this coming week, but apparently weeks 2 and 4 are going to now have the premium mystery variants back in the Alliance rewards in comparison, which is just better there. We now can also get 30,000 credits, which I don't know how much of a deal that was for many people. I saw Super Tech got really excited about that. I don't really know who else needed that bit. And the only other thing I actually think is interesting to note is Sam Wilson and Cap's Shield. They said there was an issue affecting Sam Wilson and Cap's Shield ability to move when on the same location as Madam Web has now been fixed. So I'm hoping that we can potentially do something there. But they've also said issues have been fixed and then they weren't actually fixed in the past.
But that's been an issue in the game that they said they patched ages ago.
So there was that issue, but it was, I don't know. I hope it was fixed. Maybe there's still. I think that issue was fixed specifically because they were looking at, if you remember Spider-Punk. It wasn't, I don't know if it was fixed because of them. And I'm hoping it now is fixed with them in mind, is currently the logic.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what happens there. But you guys, we do have the Datamines. Like we were prefacing earlier, this is our first time looking at any of these Datamines, which this is the first image we get for the Daredevil season. Clean.
Oh, I can't wait.
Very,
Can't
very
wait. By the way,
clean.
all these Datamines we're gonna be looking at are from Snap.fan for what
Yes.
it's worth, in case that isn't clear. Not ESPN, in case this clarification is
Ooh,
needed.
base art for Daredevil's good.
Okay.
Whoa.
So
Which
it's
I-
Electra Punisher. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. And those are awesome. I've got the other two versions of the Daredevil and Punisher card backs. I like those as
Yep.
well.
The alternates are awesome, which it looks like Fisk would be the super premium season pass card.
That makes sense. I think that's the way it was Datamined as well.
Mm-hmm. And then
Okay. Wait. Go up. Let's go. Scroll upwards. Let's not. We saw some there. I saw an 8 cost. Let's wait.
Yeah, okay.
So. Huh?
All right. So Jeff the Baby Dolphin 2/2.
Question mark.
Yeah, question mark, because these are all subject to change. Which is but
Well,
Jeff
no.
the Baby
It's
Dolphin,
like no.
yes,
The
yes.
question mark has the. Sorry. Okay.
No, that is also true. Your cards here reveal boosted with +1 power. You can move this once.
That's interesting.
Is that not crazy?
It's like a worse version of Prosecco or Proscenium.
But it's a card for just you, not your opponent.
True. That's good.
That's good. What?
That feels like a really solid, and you can move this. I like the move this once bit. That's such a wild card.
No,
I don't know.
Bro, these cards are absolutely crazy. The next card, Dance?
Oh, okay. Namorita, 4/4. After the next time you play an ongoing card, double its ongoing ability. Oh, and that's just. But that doesn't even require another card. Huh? So it just doubled. Okay, it just. God. Okay.
It's onslaught.
Again, I'm not reading forward. Yeah, it's onslaught. I'm not even reading forward here. Could you do a favor to do the Control Plus thing? Zoom in on these cards more. I need to be able to see them with higher def. But also, I'm questioning. Like, that's like a VFX thing. I need to know how the VFX are going to work on that card, because I really don't know how it's going to like track.
And it doesn't say here.
That's true. And it is like, again, it's not after the next time you play a card. It's next time you play an ongoing card, right?
Yes.
Which it means that's wild, because also, like, if it was just the next card, right? Then you forcibly had to play the ongoing card. This is like a weird
simple
version
terms,
of
I'm thinking double Sarah.
You're also, and it's also not saying here because it's meant to work with Namor and Orca.
Right.
Sure. And, oh my God, Sarah? That's insane.
Sarah. I'm thinking about this in a tribunal deck.
I'm also, yeah, I was thinking about the Sarah Silver Surfer deck. Speaking of Silver Surfer.
Which Jubilee Silver Surfer 4/2. After you draw a card, boost it with this card's power. Which, you know what this is a reference to? Team Clash Jubilee.
No. What is Team Clash? Wait. What does that one do? I forgot.
Team Clash Jubilee is you pull a card from your deck and then you give the card you pull this card's power.
Oh, okay. I will say, before we even look at the other ones, and just, again, looking at just these are such, like, I'm not saying they're mid, but it's like, okay, Namorita's a new character at least, but we've just gotten Jubilee, who is silver, and Jeff, who's wearing a dolphin
Okay, okay. So your mid comment there is mid as in they're new characters,
Specific
not in their
characters.
abilities.
No, the abilities seem great. Abilities seem cool. Sorry, let me make this very clear. The abilities seem fine. They seem cool. Very specifically, these characters that are chosen feel more mediocre to me personally.
Which is what they were talking about in their blog post about the new season is more so being like, we want to do things that are maybe a little bit more niche, more creative in our department, opposed to necessarily just new character from just already existing kind of thing.
They do still have a lot of new a
Yes.
lot of characters they can pull from. Again, we haven't seen stupid Mary Jane in the game, but
All right.
wait, is Mary Jane in this?
I don't know.
Oh,
But
you gave like a knowing. Monstro. 8/8. This card's cost is reduced by the cost of your deck's top card.
wait.
Interesting.
Oh, that's intel for you as well.
Yeah. So that's also like each and every turn you get that knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the way I understand that.
Yeah.
So you will. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's base. Wait, but it does say it says lowercase c on this. Those two C's should be swapped, is the way I read this. Again, I've gone on multiple tangents very recently in terms of the way that they've done cost versus cost in terms of uppercase and lowercase. This reads to me that the uppercase and lowercase c here is
Yes.
like swapped, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I hope so. Because if it's like adjusted cost of the top card of your deck, I don't love that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Huh.
Very-
Okay.
Interesting. And then we get a card that immediately synergizes with Jet the Baby Land Shark with Venus. 3/4. When you boost a card in play, it gets an extra +1 power.
Oh, that's fun. Okay. So that's going to be... Oh, so it's kind of like a mini version of what's his face? Or like it's a version... Everyone gets a minor version of Sebastian Shaw effect.
Yeah.
Or no, it's not even a permanent boost.
It's whenever.
Oh my gosh, this is not permanent boost.
And it's
Wait,
global.
oh my gosh, this and Blue Marvel.
Yeah. And Surfer too.
The
Your
one
Surfer
thing-
cards globally get +1.
Biggest thing I'm actually noticing with all this bit is, well, I'll see it again. It looks like in the next card here. Boost is like are they doing a keyword of boost?
Mm-hmm. It looks like it's a boost
Because this
season.
is if a boosting type of which again, okay,
Mhm.
sure, right? I guess that's currently really only exists, I guess, in like a Sebastian Shaw will get this type of keyword potentially.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's like, okay, that makes sense, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For what it's worth, by the way, according to, again, Datamines, all these are Series 5, but Jeff is apparently the Season Pass card, and Venus is the Super Premium.
Okay, makes sense that they kind of synergize together.
Yeah. These are cool. And I also do like the fact that this feels like a more generic, like, style of season. Feels like for a lot of these cards. Like, feels like they have a lot more use cases than just being like, I'm thinking of Weapon X, basically, in comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like Weapon X was obviously only for destroy,
Yeah.
whereas these are just good with all the other options. Like, dude, Maverick's gonna get nerfed. I should have said Maverick in the OTA. Maverick's
goes
getting
to a
nerfed. Maverick's gonna be a
3/1.
forecast. No, he's
Or-
going to forecast.
Mm.
We've seen Stick, who's just actively worse Maverick.
Yeah. That's
Man,
unfortunate
it's-
for Maverick. Pour one out for Maverick.
Like Maverick is a great card. Dude, the only reason that what's the deck? The only reason that the Zombie Galacti deck has been playable is because of Maverick. That's the only reason. Maverick's a great card and is probably going to be getting a nerf. By the way, also, looks like the bottom three, they don't look like the Ryan Kinnard art. And I'm
Mhm.
going to guess that means that these are also like variants of these cards.
Yeah.
So they don't even seem like they're trying to seem like a
Yeah.
bit. How does...
To try into 3/5.
I'm assuming...
On reveal.
I'm assuming boost.
Boost
Sorry.
the last character played by each player last turn by +4.
Sure. Okay. Again, boost as a keyword. I'm questioning. I'm assuming boost doesn't work with like other versions of boosted cards. Like you. So if I were to boost a card with Jeff and then it gets boosted in addition with Venus, it doesn't then get boosted again by using maybe if I had a second copy of Venus somehow, right? Like that won't keep doing an infinite loop there, which also, because I was trying to think about what if I buff a Sebastian Shaw?
I think
Does he
that's why
get +2?
that's why they changed in the patch the way
Did
that
his
the
wording
boost-
change?
No, but like the way that locations and stuff changed, like with Kahori and like with the
Oh my gosh,
location,
yeah.
that's probably why they changed it for these cards coming out in June.
These are data mined in June. Yeah, these are data
Yeah.
mined for June.
So that's probably why.
Sorry, Triton. It seems like honestly, Triton seems like the lamest one out of the options thus far. It's not bad, right? This is in the end, this is a 3, potentially 3/9.
Yeah,
but
but you also give your opponent +4.
exactly.
Which
This feels like also like depending on what your opponent is playing. If your opponent's played no characters last turn, that could be really good, right? Or if you have what's the card, Maverick again? That's a really good hit for your Maverick. These seem like cool cards. Again, I think I'm honestly more like mid on the Jeff and Jubilee Silver Surfer bit because again, just repeat characters. Monstro, I'm down. Big Octopus, sure.
So you're mid on
Venus,
the characters, not their abilities.
Sorry, I'm trying to make that very clear. The characters themselves, I am more mid on, not at all the abilities.
Gotcha.
Maybe Triton, honestly, but like,
Okay.
maybe Triton because it's just like I don't know what else the giving points to your opponent is not what I want to see.
We do have another card to dance.
We have another one still?
Yep.
Submariner. Okay, so dude, I'm down for Namor. When this is boosted in hand or in play as a 2/3, add a random 1-cost character to your hand, boosted by the same amount. So not the same amount that he's been boosted in general. Just whenever, like, let's say he just gets a +2 from a what's it called? +2 from Gwenpool.
Then you get a 1-cost with it that added 2 power, opposed to like his base power plus the 2. Yeah.
Okay. That seems fine.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know how much I love it, but it is like, sure. I'm not against it. I don't know if it's good, but I'm not against it.
Yeah, it's kind of just like whatever to me too. So okay. And then we have some updated cards, which is Mysterio, Team Clash.
Oh yeah,
Scarlet Spider.
I do like the fact they changed the text there on the illusions, by the way.
Yeah.
Scarlet Spider. Wait, what's the? Oh, we have card art. Sorry, 3/5. Sure, makes sense honestly. So wait, Muse has official card art now. God, that's nice. Wow, the red eyes. Oh, that's actually so good.
Yep.
And I like they removed the for each location a friendly card has been destroyed in. I'm actually glad they changed that text because that was very different from previous ones. What else we got here? Kingpin as well. Just assuming. Does it clarify among? This goes into my thing. You remember we talked about this last time with Toxie, where I said if Monster Island's on the board, it costs 3. I think with this change of Wilson Fisk, which now says it costs 3 if you have the highest power among cards in play, I'm even more convinced of that. You think that's fair?
I don't know. I need to see this more in action to like kind of like see really what it means in general. But that's pretty good for a 5/9. Karen Page.
It's still just that. It's still just a 4/5 with this.
Yep.
Dude, I thought I saw I saw her head and I saw the stats and I'm like, all right, well, we're gonna see those. They've done a +3 in her ability. Nope, didn't even see that.
No, it's
Bro, how is Karen Page in this game before Mary Jane? I'm so pissed about this card. I absolutely hate the fact that Karen Page is in the game before Mary Jane Watson.
Well, they probably add Mary Jane in one of these later seasons. We'll talk.
There
about
is the Spider-Man brand new
day
season, which we'll talk about here in a second. Yeah.
Um,
Sasquatch we saw. Wait. J. Jonah Jameson has an actual stat line? Is he actually coming to the game? Are they buffing text emotes because of how many emotes we have in the game right now? Are they going to buff text emotes?
They might.
That's actually insane. It is a 1/3, right? As a 1/3.
I mean, all you're doing is just text emotes, but I mean, it is 1/3.
It's a 1/3 on this. The reason you play this is for Aurora Spectrum stuff. That's it.
Yeah. So okay.
Yeah, this is something we saw where it's like they changed the wording of this. I saw who was it? Regis post about this where he apparently talked to the devs and said, "Hey, this is a really confusing ability," and they changed it.
Okay, that's fine.
Stick.
Base art for stick.
Base art for stick. Sure. Yeah, it's fine. Infinity Soulstone didn't actually get a change. They lied to us here. Can't believe they would do this to us. Punisher War Machine has base art now. Still looks so good. When drawn, mark one of your empty locations. Objective, win that location.
That's way better to read.
And yeah. Win that location. I'm pretty sure, I'm going to guess in between that +1 or right before that +1 max energy is that like little arrow that they have.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that bit. A Team Clash Hulk on reveal +2 power for each other Avenger you have here. 6. Sure, okay. God, I like this Shadowlands Daredevil art. This is so good.
Okay, they changed the wording to make it better.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't like that wording. Shuffle in 3D. Shuffle in what?
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that.
Okay. They took away some of it, but they needed to probably optimize it again.
I dislike that wording, honestly. I don't know, unless they change that to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of that one personally, but okay. Ooh, Lady Bullseye. Dang. That's all I'm saying there, at least on the art thing. Again, they made the ability clearer, but it does say again, this is weird stuff here where it says repeat on a different enemy, not a different card.
Yeah.
Still weird to me.
Very interesting there. Team Clash Wolverine.
Oh, start of turn. Wait, that's different. It's start of turn instead of end of turn now.
Mm-hmm.
If you have unspent energy, destroy this to regenerate with it. Oh, wow, that's just a completely new ability.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Very, very interesting. Okay. Fastball special.
Same.
Anti-venom. Okay.
I'm honestly glad they changed this one because that wasn't an on reveal. It was a secret ongoing because it didn't matter. You couldn't even Shadow King it, right? It was actually stuck to that 0 power.
Yeah.
Which was really weird and unintuitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Techno-organic.
Okay.
That's actually a good plus. I like that. That's actually a great change. That little +0. And that's specifically the infection. By the way, that's not the card itself, just as a note. So,
yeah.
I'm stoked for this card.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun. Mysterio, Kahori. Oh.
A 1? That's really good. I already liked it as a 2 cost. Did it change below? Sorry, I can't see. Did the ability change? No, it's still this. I thought that card was great. You're telling me they buffed it?
Yep. All right.
Okay. All right. I guess that's what we're doing. Sure. The Akari. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Ongoing, your other Avengers here have +2. Sure. Okay. Same thing, basically. Made it slightly more expensive. Future cards Quicksand. Okay. Now, when they say future cards, I don't trust it. I'm going to bet this is like the cards that just got scrapped or whatever because they're releasing less cards.
Probably.
Yep.
Oh.
Penny Arcade. Penny Arcade.
Penny Arcade.
Urban Aztec? Oh, I want to know what that looks like. No, I don't. Also, these, I love the Infinite Punisher War Machine actually looks phenomenal. I love all of these card backs. I want to know what Urban Aztec looks like.
Yeah, I want to. Just because, Urban, right?
That, as well as actually, there was at one point where I went to a really deep thing into Aztec and Mayan mythology for an RPG campaign I was doing with a couple buddies. It was a lot of fun, but I really loved it. I went into that stuff so deeply. There's so much interesting stuff there.
And then we just have new variants.
Is there not new reference cards? I figured we get reference cards for future seasons because they typically do that.
We're gonna scroll through the variants and stuff because
don't show me the albums. Why? Well, there's more albums. Oh God. New Ultimate.
Sorry guys, we'll be. Dance. I'll probably break these down later, but we want it. What the? But it would take too much time on the Yap to go through probably all of this.
There's no new reference cards in particular.
Yeah. We can look at the
new emotes.
Yeah, we can look at the new
I am
emotes.
currently emote complete. Penny Arcade Gambit, notable.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's going to be instead of a variant.
Yeah. Okay.
That's cute. I like the TikTok one, by the way. I like that they've done that. Oh, what is that for? Oh, your turn is. Oh, that's evil. I love it. Venom snack. Just chilling with Monstro, by the way.
That's so funny. Panic one.
I like these.
Okay. And then oh
wait, high voltage overdrive. We knew about that. Okay. Portal pull. Oh, so we just know the full cards for the portal pull. It's that Cobra variant from like forever ago. Sure. Yeah, they've been able to pull these for a bit, I think, for this info. Team Clash. Toxie. She's gonna be in there. That means she has to be a card that's getting buffed in the OTA, right, Tuccrr?
Yeah.
Why did you say it in that way?
I don't think that's happening. I'm sorry. And that no other referenced cards.
No. I did a Control F and just typed in referenced.
All right.
I will say, if you want to, there's some. Yeah, you'll look at the variants, I think, later. If you want to see Tuccrr talk about the variants, he'll do all that stuff. I think he'll do it later tonight, most likely on his stream. But if you're not seeing enough Tuccrr...
Oh, well, we've already shouted each other out, okay? We're good.
Yeah.
We're good.
True.
But Gambit is releasing today, guys. At the time this video is uploaded, the Gambit video will be live. Please show the Gambit video some love on the Marvel Snap main channel.
The link to it will be in the description.
Yes, a link to it will be in the description. But Dance told me I cannot look at his deck until we get to this moment where we are talking about Gambit now. And this is the deck we're going to be looking at, the Gambit that Dance said Tuccr's going to hate.
Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. So I realized it just works really cleanly with both with Sentinel, Bastion, and Merlin in terms of cards you can do. And at the same time, you can also, I like the idea of being able to use Once in Future to shuffle away a monster.
And you just only use Omniversal once.
Yeah, you only get Omniversal once, but it also still gives you created cards. And that counts for Gambit. In addition, you can use Bastion and Sentinel for all that stuff. I just thought there was enough of little things there that I just liked the idea of, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I was talking about it with my chat, and I said Tuccr's gonna absolutely hate this, and I'm doing it anyway.
That's an interesting take on it. I hadn't thought about Cerebro 3, so I think that's actually it's like a cool take. Like I don't like Cerebro at all, but I think this is a really cool fundamental idea. So I think that's cool. I think the only way, the Sentinel idea is cool, and then having multiple Gambits is kind of like the thought process I have in general, just to get the most value from the card.
Yep. You can use Chameleon or Bastion there as well, and the Merlin skills do count for Gambit, as you talk about in your video. So. Yep.
So I think that'll be very interesting. Of course, I made 3 decks. We're gonna go over actually all 3 decks. The first one, actually, I think that no one has been talking about is Thanos, and I think because the stones work well with Thanos, and the cards don't have to be concurrently on the board. You also can get value with Strange Supreme playing those cards on the board so they don't take up board space is kind of my thought process there. So, yeah, because Gambit reads, by the way, I'll pull up Gambit, so in case you guys are like, what do you mean by that? It says play 5 total cost of created cards and then randomly destroy up to 4 total costs of enemy cards. It says play. It doesn't say have 5 costs of created cards. It says play. So that's why it works with Merlin. And it doesn't say created in hand. It just says created cards, which is why another reason they changed Mysterio, a reason why this works with Thanos. It'll work with Arishem. It'll work with Merlin. It doesn't have to be created in hand. It just has to be created cards. Think about the cards that when you play them interact with Mockingbird. And I say when you play them because they do have to be played because, token cards on the board do also interact with Mockingbird. But you just have to play created cards and boom. It works.
Big note as well is that it is a capital C cost. So what are the other enablers? I think you can also even see in that deck. Valentina is fantastic. You play Valentina, you've immediately triggered it.
Yep. Valentina, Iron Patriot value.
The only card I would want in here would be like a Prodigy to copy an effect like copying an additional Superior Spider-Man or copying a what's the card? Gambit. Copying one of those types of cards in order to get a bunch of value from them would be really solid. But this is just fantastic. Yeah, this deck's going to be good.
It's just Thanos tech. I was like, I'll make a Thanos tech deck. Wiccan also could do well with this, Kate Bishop, Merlin, Iron Patriot, Valentine, and stuff like. There's stuff that just works well. The next one I have, of course, is going to be Victoria Hand, and with either Bastion, Moon Girl being able to have duplicates of Gambit. If you guys have seen the video, I actually have a game where I have 3 Gambits on the board. And things could go
Bro,
crazy.
I'm trying so hard not to to do another promo for you right now. You gotta calm down.
So there's that. Of course, the Hood creates a demon created card. You have Nico in here to get copy, destroy, draw 2. There's a world maybe you want to go maybe back into the agony route just to get bigger, Victoria Hand things. But like, there's a lot of just really cool stuff. I think you're going to see Victoria Hand a lot this week. And then I also revamped a bit of the Roram deck he was making last week while we were in chat, and I took out in Sabanor and I put in Gambit. That was kind of just the swap there. But of course, I think the deck, I'll test this. I'll test the Victoria Hand, but I have a Victoria Hand Black Knight hybrid deck that's probably been one of my favorites in general. That way you can get a mix of both and actually get some pretty cool value. I might mess around with that for some Gambit value, and just because, Black Knight is kind of combo heavy, having Victoria Hand kind of balances that out a little bit. But
sure.
I still think Isan needs to be like a 6/12.
Isan's a card that could definitely feel like he gets some love at this point. I don't know. I don't think it's a crazy ask here. But I mean, this is gonna be an awesome thing. All these decks. I'm just stoked for you as well that you got to do this Gambit video. Yeah, it's just so phenomenal. We've been talking about this for a hot second. I'm just glad that we're finally here at this point because, yeah, it's extremely deserved. Does not begin to cover it.
I appreciate you, Dance. I appreciate you. But that's the gist of Gambit. We do have a lot of other future stuff that has been mentioned here in Snap, which was from the blog post that we were talking about. Yeah. Which we get season ideas.
When we talk about this blog post, I'm going to say, I know you said it's not a roadmap. Their previous things that they've called roadmaps are also not roadmaps by the logic, right? Because they never give a date on these things, and they gave even less things here because I think they've learned from the past ones that are like, hey, we said we're working on like a draft mode like that, and then it failed, and they're still working on it. I'm not surprised that they didn't give any dates on any of these things. Yeah, that'd be awesome, but I didn't expect that because when they've done it in the past, they typically under-deliver. So I like the fact they kind of just talked about what their goals are for this year, and as a general note, gave us, hey, speaking of goals of this year, they gave us this stuff, which actually we did even talk about a little bit when Glenn gave us a bunch of emojis, right? That did, I say emoji so weirdly. Emojis basically for the whole year of Marvel Snap. And so next month is the end of days, which again, confirmed by Datamines. May is Daredevil Crimson Twilight, going into the Shadowlands Daredevil season that we've seen a little bit, tying into the Born Again show, potentially. And then we've got, but I think they're going there could be some where stuff got swapped around, but also it feels like isn't that when the season finale ends?
Probably. I'm
going to bet that's what it is.
Like 6 weeks, kind of, yeah.
Because people like to binge. I'm guessing that was the logic, at least for that bit. I don't know, but then then Wonder Man came out like this month or whatever, or last month. We didn't get anything for that. And then X-Men 97 isn't until like June or something. I don't know, whatever. I'm not going to question anymore. But we got, speaking of the Marvel Beach Bash. Sure. No idea what that is exactly. Actually, we've seen the cards. Going to be more aquatic stuff and people surfing, I guess, and Jubilee Silver.
Jubilee Silver.
Go to the next line, Tuck. Give everyone the next line here.
And then we also get, it looks like in July, Spider-Man: A Brand New Day, which already data mined, subject to change. We do have some of the characters that have been like leaked, which I won't necessarily name by name, for Spider-Man: Brand New Day already data mined. So it could be possible some of those cards might actually get abilities or finally be
like
released.
J. Jonah Jameson?
Maybe like J. Jonah Jameson, Tombstone.
Tombstone's a card that we've had. Yeah,
so,
okay. Tombstone's a good shout, actually. Ooh, I like that Tombstone shout in particular.
So those, maybe finally Dance gets the Mary Jane Watson. He wants everything too. Maybe we get a Ned. Maybe we get, some of the, there's Gwen Stacy.
I had a whole pitch. I want them to do it's not this one, but I want them to do a Spider Friends season where it's just the underpowered friends of Spider-Man.
Oh, sorry.
There's a whole season. Sorry, no, not like the kids show. Like That's what you're thinking with like spin or whatever they call Miles. But like where basically they just do all the friends of Spider-Man that are just underpowered or like have no powers. You even can get Peter Parker. You can do Peter. You can go Aunt May, Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy. I want them to do a Flash Thompson. I want, what was it? You get Norman and Harry Osborn in there. That's 7 characters right there. Not even talking about J. Jonah Jameson. Like that's done.
That could be cool. I think Brand New Day, we might get another Hulk, maybe Gray Hulk. But
there's a chance of that, but there's let's keep talking about these. I'll talk about there's a Hulk in one of the future ones potentially.
Oh yeah, there's a Hulk in Axis. But we also have then in August we have Datamine Fractured Frontier. What is Fractured Frontier?
So I'm trying to pull stuff up in terms of like the wiki and seeing like what we can pull up in regards to this. We don't have any information on what a Fractured Frontier is. That's not a confirmed thing in the comics. And even when Second Dinner was like prompted about some of this stuff, they didn't even answer in terms of Fractured Frontier. The most I can guess is Frontier is a Old West type of potential vibe. And if you talk about Fracture, I've heard Fractures in Time, I think in the past as well. And specifically, there's a character, I think it's called Rawhide Kid, who is a character who is back inside of the, was it 1800s or whatever, Wild West, who had a bunch of time travelers continually. Like there were some multiple interactions with that hero. So we could see something in regards to that, and then the time thing could go into the Fractured bit. That's my best logic for what we could have for August. However, you already talked about the next season though.
Yeah, I did. And then we also have Axis Inversion, which also, by the way, name's not final or only for the last row. So these other 6 names that we've talked about already are finalized. But then we have Axis Inversion, which is some crazy stuff, which shout out to Rez. I was watching Rez's video on this to maybe get like a general idea on some of these cards. But in case you guys did not watch Rez's video, potentially, which you guys should be watching Rez's videos, what is Axis Inversion, Dance?
So this is, if I'm reading this correctly on the wiki, which again, I'm going to hope I am, this is they did a wild story here. I'm shocked they were like, Marvel did this apparently like a decade or so ago, but they just basically had the Red Skull, a famous Nazi, hunt down a bunch of people who are different and put them in concentration camps.
Yeah.
And give us the story Avengers versus X-Men.
And it's a different Avengers versus X-Men than like one of the other ones. Yeah.
We literally had Avengers versus X-Men. But like, that's a choice for one. And for 2, the inversion gives you some weird stuff there. And that's one, and you mentioned it a little. You mentioned it because I was also thinking in terms of like, if you talk about a Hulk, there is just an inverted Hulk who is KLUH, Kluh. Which might be the answer in terms of like, hey, what if we talk about the inversion in particular is interesting, that we might see weird altered versions of some of the characters that we already know.
Which Red Skull is Onslaught, by the way, in this version.
Yes, it's to be fair, yes, I also forgot that. There's the Red Onslaught, which is a whole thing. Literally, by the way, it's called World War Hate. Insane. And also there's a type of, what is it? They also have Jarvis that even is doing stuff in there. Who knows exactly what is going to go on there? They have a different version of En Sabah Nur. Evan Sabah Nur, I kid you not, who's also goes by the code name of Genesis.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah, that's like a potential thing there. And then you also have other bits in regards to like there's the extremis virus. I always say it wrong. Extremis virus, which is interesting. If you want to talk about another skill, it kind of is one that exists as such. There's a lot of interesting stuff inside of this storyline, a lot of interesting characters, and especially I feel like there's, again, I'm going to say that even with the Marvel Beach Bash, where it's like, okay, cool, it's Jeff in a dolphin costume, and you've got Silver Surfer Jubilee, and I'm less of a fan of those.
Yeah.
But if you talk about the Red Onslaught versus, and then like Evan Sabah Nur even, and Kluh, I'm less against those characters than I am the other. Like, does that make sense why I feel like that's okay, personally?
No, I think that's
I don't
fair.
know. Yeah. But anyway, so there's a really interesting bit of story there. And yeah, like Tuccrr just mentioned, the next
Mhm.
3 titles aren't really confirmed. They are like, this is the general theme of them. However, zombies versus vampires in October, continuing the horde mechanic, and the vampires in particular are interesting.
Yeah, what are the vampires we have for the season? Also, more zombies. We get more zombies, so
Right.
some better value for the horde would be cool.
So there's not like a confirmed anything. There's nothing confirmed.
Yeah.
There's like, because there are a bunch of different vampires, a bunch of different things there. I'm not going to pretend, like, I went through stuff. I was trying to find out like specific things that would work with this. I don't have a good answer for that.
Right.
But with this in mind, I'm looking at it. I'm like, there's a lot of like, you can get other zombies in general, and you could just go into I think a spooky type of theme, kind of akin to like that Werewolf by Night season that we got forever, which wasn't Werewolf, it was also Bloodstone.
Yes.
But like, you can kind of just get that type of vibe for all the cards there. And I'm down with that. I think that's still just a cool and interesting vibe in general. I like the horde mechanic. I'm going to be excited to see what else they do with it. But I'm in particular, I've got no proof, but I really want to hope. I want to hope that the vampires in particular give you a reason maybe to destroy your horde.
Or I thought about this when I heard it, Datamines. What if vampires are finally a mechanic in the game that steals energy?
It could be that. It could be stealing energy. We could see like a specific form of stealing, right? As they talked about, they redid some stealing stuff. That could be a form of stealing as well, as we kind of had that a little bit with Dracula, who steals the power of a card that discards, something like that. That's an interesting way to go. We have, as of right now, vampires have been tied to discarding.
Yep.
And zombies have been tied to the horde mechanic.
Right.
We don't know if that's going to continue here, but that is the best. That's what we currently have.
Yeah. So maybe it's a discard, also horde hybrid kind of thing that also maybe could happen. I don't know.
I'm down for these weird hybrids. Like they're fun.
Which also something to note here is when we were looking at the July season, or not July, the June season, we didn't have any new objective cards in June, but we did have a new objective cards in May. So we are still getting some of them like
one objective card, I think, in May.
Yeah, it was only Punisher in May. But then we also have Defenders of Avalon, which I believe is a UK team, which is really cool. I know Rez was super excited for potentially Captain Britain and some of those other.
Yeah. We don't know, again, at this part in particular, Avalon, it does, again, seem to be guessed around the theme of, Britain in general. There could be stuff, if you look at Avalon, there's also a lot of references to Camelot and stuff back there, so we could see King Arthur's type of thing. But we already have Morgan Le Fay as well as Merlin in the game. They talked about, they said it was a question mark originally when they did this bit, and they said they weren't certain. Like, they said they were in the final stages of finalizing which theme for that month when the question was first asked. So it was a bit of a troll, but Glenn said nowadays he would have picked the Shield in particular, which makes me feel even more so about Captain Britain. I think that's a really good shout. But we don't know anything else in particular there, but it does kind of seem to be a British theme, which is weird. It feels like that'd be the same thing, an American theme for us. However, I'm still down.
Yeah, no, I think it would be fun to get another just like take. I saw like M13, or is it M13 or MI3, whichever the secret organization in
it's MI6.
MI6. That's what it was. I think so. It was something like that. So I'm wrong. So I'm sorry, probably. But
yeah, MI6 is the British intelligence.
So some iteration of that, getting some secret agents from there could be pretty cool. I like the idea of King Arthur, more characters from Camelot and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. And then we have the build up to December, where we would get Avengers Doomsday.
What's that?
Which is a big Marvel movie, which is when I think, honestly, Wonder Man would be probably for the first time in Avengers Doomsday. And then a character Dance has really been hoping for potentially in December. Who knows? Molecule Man would be a pretty cool character.
My guess is Molecule Man in either this one or the next Avengers. To Secret Wars, I want to say, is going to be the next Avengers movie, if I'm not mistaken. I feel like Molecule Man's a character that I'm like, he's a powerful character in Marvel, and in the original Secret Wars storyline, or maybe the second one, he mattered a lot.
Yes,
we'll see if it matters here, if it's gonna be the same thing. But again, I'm not trying to spoil stuff too much, but the movie's been out for a bit. There's also, I think, a real chance that Franklin Richards is a character that we will see at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I also just do think that Doomsday Doom, right? Or Dr. Doom, Doomsday is a real character we might see. Because guess what? Like, that's what we saw for the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, and then also the Maker could also come for Secret Wars.
Dude, I want the Maker. The Maker's a character where it's like, I want that to be it could be Axis Inversion kind of thing. I don't think it'd be there, but like, I want these alternate versions where there's also Malice,
Mm-hmm.
Who is like an alternate ego of Invisible Woman. I don't know why, but I keep seeing like the thing where she talks to Johnny and says like, remove the bad emotion from me or whatever, something like that.
Yeah.
I keep seeing that like comic strip showing up, and it's like, I'm like, yeah, this is really interesting. I'd love to know more about this character, but instead I like to be able to play this character in Snap. I don't know if we'll get there, but that's another one that I'm like, this will be cool. I think one last character, if I could say Defenders of Avalon, if actually I forgot about this, I should have said it earlier. Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Just classic Agent Carter. I know we have Captain Carter, but Agent Carter is a real character.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're talking about some, like, that seems like a Camp Lahai. Just you do the ability of Camp Lahai, put it on her, call it a day. That just seems like a character should exist by now.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be cool. I also think going back to like the Maker, we could maybe have a season called The Ultimates, and you would have the Maker, and you'd have all like the Ultimates and stuff.
Is Malice
cool.
an Ultimates, or what is that?
I don't know if Malice is an Ultimates. I know Maker's an Ultimates. There's also Ultimate Wolverine. Like there's a bunch of all like really really cool Ultimates that they can have.
Ultimate Wolverine, because that's like a cross between Bucky and Wolverine there.
Yeah, it's the Winter Soldier and Wolverine.
Yeah, Ultimates is, I think, if I had the choice between seasons, I think in the future, I love the Ultimates shout. I already said the Spider Friends thing, which again, non-powered friends. There's also the Infinity Watch.
Yeah.
Which I think I've even told you about in the past, where it's like
we've gone over it on the app.
Yeah, we did go over it on the app, where it's like the characters who got the Infinity Stones, and they I love the Ultimates shout because there are so many cool characters from there. They talked about it a bit recently, or Glenn did. They said like, hey, we don't really work with the comics area. We work with just a generic Marvel person, which goes to that's in line with what I've heard from other people who've worked with Marvel or similar companies in the past. We work with a generic Marvel company for these situations. They kind of give us a general knowledge of what we will be doing. By the way, it's MI13 apparently, Captain Britain and MI13. Sorry, unrelated. I don't know how that works, but so that makes sense there. It feels like it. And they said if they ever did it, they would basically try to figure out, okay, which characters really resonate with people. Let's make a season not posthumously, but you know what I mean, something around that, or it's already released. Make something about that. The Maker is 100% a character I'd love to see in Marvel. But in general, a lot of really cool seasons coming up. It's cool they gave us this whole roadmap of the entire year. I am now sad, though, because I'm going to get really annoyed in February to March next year when everyone says, okay, when are you giving us all the seasons you're releasing this year? They're not promising to do this. They are not, cool, they have done it. But if y'all jerks about it and you keep pressuring them, yeah, you can't. There's no guarantee we will get these in the future. So I'd love it, but no guarantee.
Yeah, no guarantee. But I'm glad we are getting some info just about what's to come, and gives us, some nice theory crafting kind of stuff. And when we see the data mines to really think about, and we had some pretty solid data mines today. We of course haven't even looked at the variants yet, and I bet there's gonna be some crazy variants there as well. But we want to say thank you guys for all the love and support through the Gauntlet for both of us while Dance was casting, while I was playing. For the support you guys are already going to do for the Gambit video, which I'm already know it's going to happen because you guys are just amazing. We want to say thank you guys so much for that. If you guys do enjoy the video, definitely feel free to like, comment down below. The word of the day is...
Let's go with, let's do me a favor, everyone. Use the word pyramid because, we got the Egyptian theme, but it's not it's not a word used often. So if you make it to the very end of the video today and you've enjoyed it, go to the comments and use the word pyramid in your comment however you'd like to. Just to let us know that you are here, you love the Yap, you love it, and you love Tuccrr and his Gambit video. Make sure you like that as well. Again, link in the description. Is this 82?
This is episode number 82.
Dude, we're almost at 100.
Almost at 100. We'll hit 100 this late... Oh, we'll hit 100 this summer, I believe.
Are we going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day when we hit it?
I think we'll be around there, or around the beginning of August. It'll be July or August, I think. So, yeah, awesome stuff, and that's from all the love and support from you guys, so we want to say, yeah, thank you guys so much. It's been real. God bless, and laters.